Worldwide, faith-based, community-driven streaming media. This is the Voice17104.com from the Allison Hill District of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Now broadcasting community radio from Studio A and community television from Studio B on the Voice17104.com.
Good evening, this is Gerald Welch, coming to you from the Voice 17104 featuring Focus Radio. We're always going to have lively discussion here, and we hope that you will join us in that discussion. The number to do that is 717-910-4462. We want to always have a intriguing conversation, and we hope that you will sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Good evening. Welcome to Focus Radio here with Gerald and Donna Welch, who is not with us this evening. Just to let you know, the number here is 717-889-7181. And this evening we are hosting candidates again. And so we want to give them an opportunity to answer some questions and let them tell us about themselves and why they do what they do. So I think that okay, I'll do it this time. This is Christina Kostelecki, who's going to be running for city council. This is Corey X. Williams, who's going to be running for school board, and Jane did I get that right?
You did. You absolutely did.
Who's going to be running for school board as well. So, thank you for coming out. For coming out in the evening.
Great.
I know how challenging it can be to come out in the evening sometimes to get some things done. And so I appreciate your time and you coming here this evening. So I have some questions here, and the more that I look at them, I think that these are some questions that all of you can answer.
Okay.
And I don't do gotcha questions. I just don't do that because I want you to come back, and I want you to come back and like Gerald asked me this gotcha question. I'm never going back, so I don't do that. And even when I disagree with people, I want them to come back. And I've had some of that. But I tell people, and Chris knows I say this all the time, if you come here with foolishness, bring a helmet. We'll put a dent in your head for coming in or calling. Even if you call in with foolishness, I will put a dent in your head if you don't know how to act. But I really appreciate it. So I'm going to start with Christina since she's going to end. So tell us about yourself, Christina.
Yeah, so I am a relatively new resident of Harrisburg. And before I moved to Harrisburg, I was in central Pennsylvania for a couple of years. And before that, I lived all over the United States. So I had an opportunity to see what works well in a lot of different communities and what doesn't work well in other communities. So I appreciate that I get to bring that to Harrisburg. And I work at a small nonprofit called PASA, and we work with sustainable agriculture. Mm-hmm. So we support farmers who are increasing diversity and doing things right for their communities as well.
Sound like a worthy cause. Yeah. So, Corey.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about yourself. Well, Harrisburg already knows you, but for our viewing audience, can you do that again?
Yeah, absolutely. Corey X. Williams, native of Harrisburg, been involved in community activism more than half of my life, I want to say. I'm an alumni of Harrisburg High School. I experienced great Harrisburg teachers. I experienced, how should I say it? The real Cougar spirit, I should say. I experienced that in high school. And that's why I'm running for Harrisburg School Board, because I want to bring that back.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to bring that back.
Jane.
Absolutely.
Tell us about yourself.
So I am not a Harrisburg native. I'm not even a Pennsylvania native.
Okay.
All right. So I grew up in New York. which I'm reminded of when I'm talking or addressing an audience. People will say, "You ain't from here, are you?" And the answer is no. But again, like Christina, I've lived all over the United States. So my last position, I worked for Pennsylvania School Employees Retirement System. And just by nature of my job, I was the regional field administrator for all the school districts.
Okay.
So when they were naughty or when they were nice, I would go out and see them and work with them. And I had an opportunity, again, to see really great schools and then really distressed schools. Really, Chester Upland comes to mind. Philadelphia had its share. So I got involved currently in the last couple of years, following the school board, going to school board meetings. We started the grassroots, Kia Hansard, Charlotte Plain started a grassroots organization called Catch. And as one of the founding members, we initially started out by saying, look at us, we're good people, we're do-gooders, we're going to advocate for children, and we'll help the school district, and we'll help the school board, and that we still advocate for children. It's the fundamental foundation of Catch. But as we got into it, we found we've got problems in the school district. And then they looked at us and said, there's Catch, we've got problems. So from that, I decided, well, I can sit back and watch it, or I can sit back and change it. And that's why I decided to run.
All right, thank you. My name is Gerald Welch. A lot of my viewers know me, but we're campaigning again, so I will. I am not native to Harrisburg. I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised there. I was fortunate enough to marry into Harrisburg. I have a beautiful wife, Donna Welch, but she doesn't use Clark, but they know about Donna Clark. Growing up in Washington, D.C., Southeast Washington, D.C., I understand some things about collateral consequences. And so when I ran for school board before, and I learned a lot in that effort, but it did not deter me from staying engaged with what was going on in the school board. Because what I learned is that when you have young people who are not graduating high school, that many of them find themselves on the fringes of society. And when that happens, it increases all the other resources for the community. So we start spending money in young people pregnancies. We start spending money in the jail industrial complex. We start spending more money in SNAP. We have unintended, the homicide rate goes up, crime rate goes up, and I like this city, and I want it to prosper. When we not, we can do data at a later date, but when you look at the data, it impoverishes the neighborhood when you are not graduating young people from high school. And so that's about me. I'm just passionate about my community. Wherever I'm living, I want to be a part of what's going on, and I want to be a part of anything that has to do with fixing it. So that's me, Gerald Welch.
Yeah.
So, well, next question is, this hour's going to go really quick because only you three guys are very smart. So, Corey, why are you running for school board?
Was my second time running for school board. I ran in previous election, and my issues really have not changed, to be honest with you, because the performance hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. The results, we have no results. Nothing has changed. We've only decreased. So I can come here and say that my issues remain the same. Get boosted graduation rate up, give our children a safe learning environment, give our teachers a safe environment to teach in. With the new wave of things going on now in the district, I'm a firm believer that our educators should have nothing less than the best. They should have everything they need to do their job 100%. We might get a little more results that way. I'm also coming up I want to bring this about sort of like a grassroots movement kind of thing, and sort of unite all of the community activisms and all of the community agencies and organizations, preachers, politicians, educators, because for us to blame the school, for us to blame administrations, for us to blame the public system of education for the failure of the schools in our city, we have to, as a community, take some kind of responsibility. So this is why I'm running, brother, because I believe that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
I want to help professionalize the district as a board member. I want us to vote for the best policy that's going to benefit not ourselves or our friends. I want us to vote for policy that will benefit our children, benefit our educators, our city, our voters. This is what I want to do. I believe we deserve it. Our children deserve it. We can no longer vote for these candidates who are being backed by agendas that are not for the best interests of our children. And so that's why I'm running. So if nobody else will run on those principles, that's why I'm running. Because I believe that they deserve the best, and I won't compromise our agenda for the sake of personal agendas. I won't do that.
Okay.
So I'm back again for a second chance, brother, and I hope that we go all the way with it and get it this time and make some real change. Some great people running. I'm very excited about this election. I'm ready to make it happen.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Christina, why are you running for city council?
Yeah, you talked about when you move to a city, you want to be as involved as possible,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm doing. I'm getting involved, and the way that I learn best is by doing, and so I'm jumping right in there. One of the things that I like to say is that I want to get involved before I'm jaded, right? I have this awesome positive view of Harrisburg, and a lot of people do, and I think that we can use that the forward momentum we've got to improve the city. And then things like better collaboration between the school board and city council. Yeah. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's use the coalitions that we've got for the better of all of our citizens. And school and city are not separate issues. By having a better school board and having a better school system, we've got more families moving into the area. That increased tax base, we've got then more revenue going back into the schools. And every single employer in the area wants a better school system, so we are graduating good people that are going to stay here and work here.
Right.
All right, Jay. Tell me why you running for school board.
Okay.
Give us the meat and potatoes version of why you.
Well, the meat and potato version is this. I've attended enough school board meetings. I have filed enough right to know requests because I cannot get information. And we are long overdue for a transparent school board and a school board that is accountable and that holds the administration accountable. The school board that we have now is virtually impotent. It can't do anything. It doesn't do anything. You have a voting block on there. We have a tired school board. We have retreaded school directors. It is time, as Corey said, and as Christina said, we've got to expand. We've got to think out of the box, and we've got to have a school board that is willing to step up and do what a school board should do. It's hold people accountable. And we ourselves have a school board, have to hold ourselves accountable. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We have to invite people at our table. Instead of discouraging citizens and advocacy groups, we have to bring them. Imagine having Kevin Dolphin or Delane Simpson or Broda go. Imagine them working there with us. We have tremendous energy and tremendously talented people that can turn this. If we do not change things, because I can't fix anything, we can't fix anything unless this board flips. And we've got to do it, or, welcome to your future of state-owned school. We will go into receivership.
Let me tell you why I'm running for school board. Because somebody needs to say the things that nobody else gonna say.
That's right.
I can remember when you guys started Catch, And Tia asked me would I join Catch, and I told her, I said, I love what you're doing. I said, but I'm gonna say some things that might not be in line with what you guys are trying to do, and I don't want to tarnish the image of Catch and the good work that you're doing because I'm going to tell the truth. And I'm not going to compromise anything about my integrity. And I believe that I'm going to say this, I believe that the current board has given away their integrity. And it is no way in the world that you can tell me that what you're doing is in the best interest of the children of Harrisburg School District. See, I don't want to keep hearing people tell me about how they love the kids, and then they keep doing it with children, for people who are sensitive to kids and children, and how they love the children, and they're not doing anything in regard to protecting them, but only protecting those people who are in position to continue the travesty of a failing and feckless, policy-driven mishmash of foolishness. You know, it's just, I'm running for school board because I'm tired of seeing articles in Penn Live of mismanagement, misplacement, misguiding, underhanded, can't be responsible. The people who cannot speak up and tell the truth, or you know what I would appreciate from the school board or the administration, I would like for them to say, yeah, I made a mistake. Let us go back to the table. Let us try to fix this piece of policy, and let's see if we can get it back on track for the children of Harrisburg. But they won't admit that they made a mistake. They'll pile some more foolishness on top of foolishness, and there is all haywire right now. So when you expect children to do well in an environment, they're only going to follow by the example of the adults that's in front of them. So if you got adults in positions that are acting like maniacs or being underhanded or duplicitous, how they follow your demonstration. So when you see kids in school that are not going to class, they're not following the rules, they are behaving just like the administration that is currently in place. And that's why I'm running for school board, because it's time for it to stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's time. It's got to stop. And it ain't about because you love, you know, whoever has been on the school board, or I love Mrs. Smith. Stop. She got to go. It's time to get some people in there that are going to really take a serious look at evidence-based, well-vetted policy to turn this school board around. Now I'm gonna stop right there before I say something I should.
Potatoes, man. Man. Yeah, I was happy.
Yeah.
No, but everything you're saying is spot on. So when we look at the list of candidates, I was like, well, this is a gift because of the candidates, the incumbents. Actually, there's only 2 incumbents, and 2
for a school board.
For a school board.
It's 3. It's 3. No,
but they were appointed.
Oh,
they weren't
okay,
elected.
Right.
So you have 2 appointed, 2 elected.
Right.
Okay. And so the choice for the voters is going to be easy if they just think. You're either going to have things just exactly the way they are right this very minute, or you're going to vote for change, or we're going to go forward. And we're going to have a school district that recognizes they belong with the city.
Yeah.
Because our school district thinks they're like their own little kingdom. You know, they thumb their nose at the city. They thumb their nose at the state. How long ago was it when the state said to them, you know, get a qualified business manager, get a permanent CFO? That was July of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Have we have it yet? No.
8 years, 10 different business managers.
Yeah.
We just throw that little grenade out there. Christina.
Yes.
Who are you working with during your campaign?
Yeah, so I am working with a lot of school board candidates, which again goes back to that building coalitions, working with folks like Public Works. I really believe that one of the foundations of a strong community is it starts at that neighborhood level, and it starts with green spaces and walkable communities. Right. And so working really closely with Public Works, and I just went to a meeting a few weeks ago at Dauphin and Fourth, there's a playground, and the city's working to redo that playground and make it just more accessible, more user-friendly, a place where the community can actually come together. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, since you said you're working on that playground. Is that an opportunity where young people can come in and help and fix that, or maybe learn some skills in the process of doing that while they're fixing that? Is that something that might be possible?
So I think in the some of the bigger infrastructure things, of course, we can't have children around heavy equipment, but when it gets to the point, they're actually planting what's called a rain garden, and that rain garden helps to keep water from overflowing into the street and keeps water from going into the sewage system. Right. And so what they're doing is planting native trees and plants in there, and that's really a time when the community can come together. It's also a time they're putting up we made sure, as we were talking with them, that they have signs in the area so people can learn why is this here, what makes this unique. And maintenance, definitely the kids can get involved in. Trash pickup, the kids can get involved in. But you're right, like in the initial planting of those plants, we should definitely involve the community and those young kids to let them learn about this and let them know what the benefits of it are. Yeah.
Corey, are you working with anybody on your team?
I'm working with well, I'm running a totally 100% independent campaign, and I'm working with any citizen and any activist who wants to put our children first and wants to help me achieve what I'm trying to achieve right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, brother. But it's 100% independent, for the people, by the people, 100%.
Power back to the people.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
That's my motto.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Jay, who are you working with?
Gee, I kind of feel that I'm at large.
Hello.
You know, I work with, obviously, I'm supported by Catch. Although, just to be clear, because I want people to understand, I stepped down from any voting issues. I don't vote on issues. I am a member of Catch. I will be a member of Catch, but I'm not a member of Catch at this particular time.
You recuse.
I recuse myself from voting on issues and stuff like that because it's conflict.
Yeah.
So my campaign manager, one that we know and love, is Carrie Fowler. So I've been working with her on, you know, how do you go out and knock on doors? How do you ask for endorsements? How do you do this? Because I've not ever run for public office before. So I'm kind of new at this. But other than that, I will be doing I have it's called Jane Now on Facebook. When that ever comes back up, because it's been giving me fits today. And so what I'll be doing is a segment called Voices. And I just plan to go to the neighborhood, sit down with a few of the neighborhood residents and listen to their voices. And I will be posting what they're saying. Of course, they choose to remain anonymous, they will. But people in Midtown have to know this is what people on South 13th Street are feeling. People in Uptown have to know this is what's going on downtown. And South Side and Allison Hill North and Allison Hill South. And we are all one community. And that's where the Voices comes in, so that the community gets together and hopefully gets together behind a brand new school board.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate, and I will tell people that God works in mysterious ways, because I remember in the last campaign, me and Carrie Fowler were scrapping for sure. And and this time when she asked me, was I going to run? And I didn't get a chance to ask her to do it because she told me. She was like, I'm your campaign manager. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And my response to her was okay. But doing that, I've learned a lot.
Me too.
From just working with her. And really, it takes a Herculean effort to kind of really do campaign stuff. And it's local area PACs and just talking with them, and then just trying to keep your feet up under you while you try to maintain your life and do campaigning too.
Right.
But you know, most of all, though, my wife is a big help because she doesn't let me forget stuff on our schedule, and you know, we mark it on the calendar. So she's a big help. She helps me a lot. And I'm a social worker, so social workers work with everybody because it is the accumulation of resources that help move everything forward. So as a social worker, I want to talk with you, you know,
Right.
just to see where you're at. Now, if you're crazy, I'll probably talk to you for a little bit, but then I kind of got to make that mental note, like,
Time to move on.
yeah, it's time to move on. But you know, the social worker, and I've seen all of you do the same thing, but you contact and deal well with resources that kind of help you
Right.
move whatever you're doing along.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure all of us are on that same page. It's just, you know, and it's probably a different experience too. It's me and you have done this before. So.
Yeah.
And you know, I really want Corey to win, even though I'm running, but I really want him to win.
There's a lot of seats open.
Yeah.
Oh, we have 5 seats open.
Yeah, and I want Jane, you know, I want Jane to win too, because she's smart, and I like smart people. You know, I
Oh,
like
thank you.
smart people. I like smart people. Corey is smart.
And I think, I mean, I'm happy to put my info out there too after this, because if anyone is motivated by this, they should definitely get in touch with one of us and work with us. See what it's
Yeah.
like to go door knocking and meet your neighbors.
Volunteer.
Come out one day when we're going to a community event, invite us to your community event. It's such a nice
Absolutely.
way for us to know what you think is important and what you're doing. I'm more than happy to show up anywhere.
And it's extremely important to be engaged.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
extremely important to be engaged. I was at HAG yesterday, and I was speaking to the young men, and me and Christina were discussing this earlier about why it is so important to be engaged and vote. And because when you tell someone, especially, and I'm having these challenges sometimes with young black men, that everything in your life is affected by a vote.
Yes.
You know, where I'm like, everything. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, somebody voted on the color of your pencil. So just wrap your head around that. Every single thing that you come into contact with in your life has been decided by a vote. And that's why it's that important. And so I'm hoping that people will see this and want to get motivated and volunteer and canvas and pass out flyers, and palm cards, and help knock on doors. And also, I'm hoping that people are engaged now, because you really gonna need to be engaged in 2020.
That's right.
So if we start now, then we got a head start on 2020. We're not gonna talk about 45 because my pressure will go up, and I don't want to do that. So Christina, tell me about some of the concerns you've heard from the people that you've met.
Yeah, so I have been door knocking since the middle of February, and I've been to a lot of different neighborhoods, but I'm excited to keep going and learning. And the concerns are really interesting, because some of them are really similar no matter where you go in the city, right? They want good schools. They want the city council working with the school board. They want a place where they feel safe and a part of the community. And then other things are kind of interesting and different by area. Some folks are really concerned with the trash and how often the trash gets picked up and what happens with trash bins and things like that. Other areas, food security, job security, affordable housing, and all of these sort of play into each other. So one of the kind of big picture, but not at all sexy things about city council that we can do to kind of help touch on all of those concerns. We can actually work really hard to make it easier for entrepreneurs in specific neighborhoods. So we did a really good job of getting Second Street back up. You know, that's a cool place to go. It's a destination, but we can also replicate certain parts of that in other neighborhoods too.
Great.
So then when you've got local entrepreneurs as the business owners, they're also hiring local individuals. So those dollars are staying in Harrisburg, and we're creating jobs for Harrisburg residents. And then those Harrisburg residents can afford to stay in that house and can afford to fix it up. So we're fixing things like blight and affordable housing by encouraging entrepreneurs in specific neighborhoods. And those are the types of things that I've heard in so many different parts of Harrisburg that they want to see improve.
Right. That's very important that you say that, because when we keep the revenue in the community, if it starts to turn over 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the community, is how we increase the wealth of the community, which is very important. Instead of that, we don't mind big box stores because we know they exist, but when you can keep that revenue from local entrepreneurs spending money there in the community, then that's something that we need to start having. Jane, tell me about some of the things that you heard. But you're a catch, so you hear everything.
Well,
help us out. Help us understand some of the issues.
As of the last month, as I've been, of course, engaging, and interesting, I'm just going to take a sidebar, is I sit on the LERTA board for the city, and you get a bird's eye view. And we are in such a unique position right now to encourage exactly what you said, and to get skilled labor through our schools, get an apprentice program in there. That's very near to your heart. I know, but that's the old, that's the old way we can move forward. So here's what I'm hearing. I have got to let people vent, and the first thing they always say is, well, everybody just has to go. That's it. Scrap them all. And, maybe not. But what has to happen is you have to think about what you're voting. And so when I talk to people, I say, okay, well, give me a specific. I am not happy. Where my child goes to school is filthy. Kids walk out. We heard, and I think you were with me. So when I want to find out what's going on in the school district, I, of course, get it from Penn Live or the Burg. And so we knew about the little boy who walked out of, I believe it was Melrose, walked across that Dairy Street intersection and ended up at Double D's. So we knew about him. We knew about the little girl last year who left the school and then was found sleeping on somebody's porch. But what we didn't know, and Gerald was with me when we both heard this, was kids walk in and out of school every day. They just walk out and they walk home. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So I look at that and say we are not providing a safe environment. They want a safe environment. People want education.
Yeah.
They want to stay in the city. They love the city. It's going to be a school city. But when their children get school age and there's no alternative for them, that's it. That's it. They will leave. I got on a thread with some of the Midtown Harrisburg folks and tremendous insights from that. I can go in my own neighborhood. I live in South Aston Hill, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm really interested in this. But in talking to my neighbors, they do want their children to be safe. They do want their children to be educated just as much as they want that for themselves.
Yeah. And
parents have to be welcome to the school, and they are not. They are often ridiculed and shamed. Great. Just fabulous.
Yeah. Corey, what are some of the things you've been hearing?
Excuse me. I've been hearing, a lot, brother. I've been hearing that our schools are unsafe. And I'm in a bit of a limbo with this because I can't say I'm big on accountability, but I'm big on self-improvement as the basis for community development. So for a parent to tell me, well, this teacher is not teaching my child. My child's not learning because they not teaching my child. The parent has to take some form of accountability and responsibility for that child's education. and as well as the school board as well, as far as implementing and enforcing policy that's going to give us safe schools and give our teachers what they need to educate our children. I'm hearing that some of the students don't even have enough to eat sometimes. Some of them have to catch a van or a bus to school. If the van is late or the bus is late and they get to school and the cafe is closed, they just, even if they didn't eat breakfast at home in the morning, they just skip breakfast and catch lunch. Parents are dissatisfied with that. Parents say when they call to the administration building, everyone's rude there, they say, and unprofessional.
Same thing.
Yeah, very unprofessional. What else do I hear? I can go on and on and on. But I told you about the food situation. I want to touch on that again. There's a program called Farm to School.
Yeah.
I heard you mention agriculture.
I'm
and
part
I was
of
like,
the
yeah,
Pennsylvania Farm to School Network.
that's beautiful, actually. It's a great program, Brother Gerald. In the United States, we have a program where school districts can get their produce and their meats and all their nutrition from local farmers. And this is a two-headed coin because our students are receiving the best of foods.
Yeah.
You need the best of foods to learn. It's conducive for good learning. Good food is. Currently, I can't find who Harrisburg School District gets their food from.
Oh, we know.
I think they get their food from the same, from prison supplies. I've seen the
No,
food.
it's
It's terrible. And if we really think about this, as far as we always cry about money, this and all of this stuff, if we really think about it, networking with these local farmers out of Lancaster County, brother, and all throughout Pennsylvania, we're a great agriculture state. And also when it comes to learning, I believe our students need that type of outlet in urban cities and urban communities. We need that, the arts, agriculture. These are things that are foreign to our youth and our students, but they need that because that will expand their mind and maybe take them places they have never been. I used to work for a farmer. His name was Bunk Smith out of Dillsburg. And I never knew about farming, never knew about anything. And Bunk actually sold fertilizer for a living. He was a sales rep, and I was just his helper. And we traveled all across the country at agriculture expos and whatnot. And he always told me, he said, you know what? Everybody has to eat. You mentioned the vocational facility.
right.
We had one, Votech up there. They had a greenhouse, aquaponics, and things of that nature. Learning this when I was in high school.
Right.
I took classes up there. And our children should be able to graduate with a thorough knowledge in a skilled trade, carpentry, mechanics.
That was our desire, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we should have that. We need that. So I'm hearing a lot of things. And the same way I tell the residents or the parents, my plans and what I want to do, they love it. They think we really need this. And we need to get the board out of there. They all say that. They don't want none of them in there.
Yeah. Well, will it surprise you to learn, and I believe you were at that school board meeting when they have a new food service. And I specifically said, we are in a unique position within this community, this part of central Pennsylvania. Will our produce, our meats be locally sourced? And they sat right there and said to me, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it has yet to happen. So I'm done being lied to, and I hope everybody else
That
is
was
too.
like 5 Pinocchios right there.
That was the amazing.
I just want to say that, that will be a great idea for something that we can all work on once elected. Because I have no doubt that this is a great team, and I have no doubt that we will make it all the way to the end of it and win. But we'll save a lot of money too.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll
saves
save the
money.
taxpayers a lot of money. We'll save the
And
district
it's
a lot of
more
money.
nutritious.
It's more nutritious, and we're bridging gaps.
And
Yeah.
now,
We need to be
there'll be
supporting
city
other
council
industries.
person there that gets it, that
Yeah.
has it. I know that Rafika Muhammad has been involved with the rain gardens, and she's amazing, and she does
I'm
hydroponics.
hosting
And now bees.
Yeah.
I'm all excited about the bees.
She'll be our greatest advocate if we get this launched.
Absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
I have no
She
doubt in my
will be.
mind.
I've been hearing a lot of the same concerns that you guys have been hearing, but I have some concerns myself. I really don't like when politicians and administrators put the lack of learning
Yeah.
on people because they're poor or disadvantaged. And I want to make an appeal to parents that are in the district. If you believe that your child is not getting the education that they are entitled to, gather you and your friends, get some pitchforks and torches, and come straight to the school and raise hell. The reason why we having problems with what's going on in schools in the school district is because your voices are not loud enough.
Exactly.
Your voices are not loud enough. You have seen and heard through history the demonstrations that have changed policy over decades. When the reason why civil rights legislation came about is because people united and they had to listen to those voices.
Yeah.
If you want security to change in the schools, then you have to be present. Because this day does it no longer exists. There was a time where parents could take their children to school and not worry about anything that was going on.
Yeah.
When my parents took me to school, they didn't have those concerns. They didn't worry about me getting jumped or shot or stabbed or any of those things in school. They weren't worried about me getting a decent meal. They didn't worry about me learning how to socialize with other people or people who did not look like me. They did not have those kinds of issues. And today we have these kind of issues. And I know that parents are concerned about all of those things, but you have to get involved. But also, the good citizens of the community have to get involved too, because we can no longer say, well, that doesn't affect me.
Yep.
That's not me. Well, my children.
I don't have children.
I don't have children there. But let me say this. If children are not in school and they run around the neighborhood and they breaking in houses and breaking in cars and stealing cars, when your neighborhood becomes red line and your insurance goes up, then you'll probably maybe take a bigger stake in what's going on. So if we nip this kind of stuff in the bud, we fix our city from a holistic perspective. So that's what I'm concerned with.
And if you're a business owner looking for good employees, you want students who are graduating from school, and you want a good community foundation now, so that in 20 years your business keeps thriving.
Exactly.
We're not getting to capacity.
Right.
Well, I mean, because we got baby boomers. My wife retired from the state, but they still send her those letters, those annuity letters. Right. Come in, we need you for a short period of time. Right. And that just makes me think, like, why are we not having young people moving into these state jobs? I'm like, oh, they're not graduating high school. Yeah. So we having an issue with our caretakers of the future.
Yeah. We have. It is not surprising that we have lost approximately 136 teachers within the last year, and so the administration will have you believe, wow, they're leaving because they get student loan forgiveness. But I will tell you, I talked to a lot of teachers, and if I've been here 5 years as a teacher and a first-year teacher, and I'm making as much as a first-year teacher, yeah, I'm going to have a problem. Yeah. So we don't have an equitable scale. We have more lawyers on the staff of the district than, honest to God, than 45 does. Maybe as much as 45 does.
Yeah, you're right. We have to wipe up. You know, I don't want to speak this way, but the whole administration has to be completely wiped out. Because what we're witnessing is years and terms of people left over and the same corruption and the same dirt being done over and over again.
And you see it.
You see it. And the citizens, if you go back chronologically, you can see it. You know, the citizens see it, and they also see Catch. They also see Welch. They also see individuals who are running for office right now.
Moving in the right direction.
They see you moving.
So the choice is, voters, you can keep everything status quo and vote the same people in, or worse, not vote, or you can say, you're right. We need change. We want this to happen. We're going to vote. And we have got to do that because seriously, we're a plane and two engines are on fire. And if this doesn't convince you that we need change, if not reading in the paper continuously of the scandal and the cover-ups, we need change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the single biggest thing that we can convince you to do as citizens is the least sexy. Just go out on May 21st
Absolutely.
and
And
cast
vote.
your ballot.
Yeah,
It
that's
takes 10 minutes and it's the most boring thing you'll do, but it's the most impactful. It has so much of a difference. And if you say, I'm not sure, I don't know who to vote for, you can look up the ballot on vote.com and you can see everyone that's there, and you know how to use Facebook, you know how to use the internet. Just Google each of those people and you'll find some basic information about them. And you're going to be an informed voter in less than 10 minutes. And you're going to be an active citizen in less than 10 minutes on Tuesday, May 21st.
And we can help you register.
Yeah.
Go on. That's the easiest
Send
thing.
any of us a message.
Any, you know, one thing that may be nice is we have voter registration clinic. I know that there are a few that are going to happen, voter registration
You can
clinic.
also register to vote online as well.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's easy.
By April 20th, that's the deadline to register
April
to vote. And then elections May 21st. So
Is the school board meeting?
Yeah,
Monday
there's a
night?
school board meeting.
Let
me see.
Monday night?
I believe.
They're gonna have some things probably that they're not gonna tell us what it is. They want the school board to
Let's
vote
see.
on it. It's highly secret. They're not gonna tell the other members of
We'll
the
get
board
it
what
from-
the checks is for.
Yeah.
We're gonna see that them spending money, but we're gonna have no clue who it goes to or what it's for. I mean, I could be wrong, but you can always clear the record up if I'm mistaken. I'm sure that you don't have a problem with clearing the record up. If I've said something that was not true or maybe a little inaccurate, but all I've ever seen was check numbers and amounts and no dialogue about who they're going to or what those services are for.
I have specifically asked and one, what is this check for $240-some thousand? Who is this company? And I got I call it the zoo look. You know how you look at animals in the zoo and they just look back at you? Well, that's what I got. And I finally had to ask them, do you know what this is for? Blink once for yes, blink twice for no. Did not get an answer to the following week. Now I'll tell you something. If I was going to a school board meeting and I was the business guy, you better believe I'd know where those dollars went. And $240-some thousand isn't chump change.
Yeah.
They did not even know they had $2 million in back taxes collected by the county waiting for over a year.
You have a question for the
Sure.
chair?
What other creative things can we do to encourage more voter participation? I know you guys are going door to door. I know you guys are willing to help people register online, but is there any other creative ideas we could get more people engaged in the voting process?
I wish I had some money, cause I would like give out some chicken wings and fish sandwiches.
Everybody likes to eat.
Come on, let's get it in there. Let's bring us together with some food and come on, let's get out here. And get it done.
It's the community. Let's get the community spirit, and that's exactly right. Block parties,
Sure.
yeah, I think
playground parties.
everybody's got their thing. So for me and Gerald, it's food, right?
Yeah.
So let's have a block party and talk with your neighbors, right? Every base of our city starts with our neighbors.
Yep.
So get to know your neighbors. One way to get engaged in your community is just to go knock on your neighbor's door and say, this crazy woman, Christina Kostelecki on the radio, just told me to go knock on my neighbor's door because I don't know you. And, you know, getting to know your neighbor and then getting to know a few more of your neighbors and then inviting them to the block party or inviting them on the third Tuesday of every month is 2 Minute Tuesday, where you go out into your community and pick up litter.
We do
Just
that.
2 minutes,
It's
right?
nice.
Right. It's so nice. And you meet-
Multicultural festivals coming up.
yeah, there's just so many opportunities. Go to an event in your city, and honestly, some of the best things that I've done, I just needed someone to go with me, right? So I leaned on my friend and I said, Corey, I'm a little nervous to go to this city council meeting or this board meeting. Will you go with me and just kind of be my buddy? So just ask somebody.
Exactly.
I'm happy to go with you. Any of these
Yeah.
folks here, just kind of walking you through the first time when you don't really know what's going to happen. Take a friend along and instantly you can become more engaged.
And that is exactly what we need. Exactly. So campaigning is rough. I'm learning that. The last time I ran for school, I ain't really campaign. I thought I was campaigning, but that's not. This is a whole new experience. So
Yeah.
tell me some of the ups and downs about campaigning. I'm gonna start with you, Jay. Let's go.
I can start with me.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
one of the things, one of the rough things to do is you want to do it all. You want to talk to everybody. You want to be at every event, and you can't do it.
Yeah.
So it is time management for me. It's we will do this and this. I think I had to get over my fear of knocking on doors, and because I hate being intrusive. So basically, I'm polite, but I had to get over that. I think we have to understand what the strategy is. But let me tell you something. It all becomes easier when you realize how critical this election is. It all becomes easier. I encourage people to come out to the school board meetings, and if nothing for pure entertainment, but you should Monday a school board meeting at the school district administration will be having, starts at like 6 o'clock, I believe, but you can go online and look it up. But it becomes easier when that fire is in your belly, when you know that this is my chance, this is our chance, this is what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Corey?
Ups and downs of campaigns, so many, but one is the time being spread out too thin.
Yeah.
That's very, very. You got to have some discipline and be able to some major time management, and be willing to put in some what they call sweat equity. You got to put some sweat in there. If you want to get the results, you got to put some sweat in. And another thing is, just stand strong, sticking to your issues, staying positive throughout the whole campaign, because you're going to find people who don't agree with you.
Yeah.
You're going to find people who don't believe it. You can do the job. You're going to find people who have the worst things to say. You're going to find people who have the best things to say. Stay around the people who have the best things to say and believe in you, or are all for you and what you believe in.
Yeah.
And you'll be successful, I think.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
good advice.
Yeah.
Because discouragement is real, and you got to stay away from it and stay positive.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole campaign, regardless of what.
What about you, Christine? How the ups and downs of campaigning?
I love knocking on doors. I absolutely love it. I get to, in walking through neighborhoods, you learn so much about, why those issues are important to them. You can see it really clearly. And people are really excited that folks are coming out, and, it's a creative way to get engaged in the election process. Learning about those candidates is really powerful. Mm-hmm. Having that one-on-one connection is fantastic. It's been really terrible weather, so that's definitely a con. You talk about staying positive.
Yeah,
my fingers are going numb. It's windy and cold outside. That's not been a positive for sure. And I think it can be really hard hearing so many different issues and so many people's struggles. Trying to find solutions for all of those is really tough. Hearing people's struggles and heartaches is not easy at all.
No.
I wear my heart on my shoulders, and so I often, when I hear those personal stories, it's difficult to listen to, but I also know that that's why I'm doing this. Right. I'm doing this because the city isn't perfect, because we do have a lot of room for improvement. I do want to make our school system better. I do want to make our community more positive for everybody in there.
Excellent. For myself, it's just trying to fit everything in. It's just, it's like Jane said, it's just a lot of stuff, and and campaign manager is serious, and so I have never took on an endeavor like this, so it's demanding. And,
It's a steep learning curve.
yeah, and I have to manage still work, I still have to work, and I have to do this. This is not something that you can't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have it.
So you're trying to do 100% for
Right.
each thing, like I'm still with Fair Districts,
Right.
PA, and you know.
You
And
can't
then still spend time with your family.
right, and still do that.
And then there's that.
And I'm at a place where I don't want to have it because it's
That important.
incredibly important
Exactly.
that something, well, not something, that it has to change. We are quickly approaching some critical points in what's going on, and if the state comes in and takes it from up under us, then it is going to be a mission to try to get it back to normal again, and we don't want that. And then just I was saying I love my wife, and this stuff keeps me away from just that sometimes you need that like chilling with your people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And that's one of the ups and downs because they'll listen to you complain and they'll say, "Oh, it's gonna be all right."
Yeah.
Other people like, "Shut up and stop complaining. We got a chance." So that's just my take on the whole doing it. But I really, and I'm sure you guys do too, really believe that this is critically important.
Yeah, it is so critical for obviously for the school district, but remember this, as is the school district goes to city.
Period.
So there is no,
Period.
if I'm in Idaho and I'm gonna move, I have a job in Harrisburg, and I look on Zillow or whatever it is, and I go, hey, look, the price of houses are pretty good. Look at this, you're right in the capital. Look, oh, here's the school district, and it says distressed in receivership. Hope you make enough money to not send your kids there. I'm very discouraged by that, and that's one of the things that does. But I have faith. I have faith that we can turn it around. I have faith that citizens will decide enough is enough.
Yeah.
Where we at, Chris?
I got about 3 or 4 minutes. So when is, not to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but to interject, when is the next school board meeting and how important it is to get our community out in support of that as well?
Yeah. It's Monday night at the administration building on State Street. You can park and back and come in that way. It starts, I believe, at 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30. You can go on the site and see the start time. They've changed it. Critically important. Critically, and actually, with a little bit of luck, the agenda is already posted. I probably don't know that for sure until I go on and look. It is very important. We have new principals. I'm not sure that, I don't know if you guys have heard anything, or Christina, are they gonna vote on a principal? Are they going to, I don't know. Yeah. But it'll be interesting. And I like how the current school board anticipates it, because you can tell they'll bring in security personnel.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Well,
I do remember security.
Well, the truth of the matter is that they can ask you to leave all they want, but the sunshine law says, unless you're threatening, and you didn't threaten anybody, you just called them on something the next day,
No, I did not.
there was never a threat, there was nothing else, and then they wanted security to escort them out.
They just didn't like what I said.
And they also were eyeing me, and I said to the security guy, yeah, well, I could get escorted out, it's not gonna be by you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's exactly what Gerald said. We need people who are willing to ask the tough questions and be willing to be asked those tough questions.
Right, exactly.
We need folks who are accountable and who have great integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we're all here for.
I believe that as well.
I like what you said, ask the tough question. We gotta get a tough answer too. Because sometimes you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I need to say it to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly right.
I need to say it to you, and you can ask me a tough question. You got to be prepared for the answer, because you know I've seen that a lot on social media. People are asking a lot of questions, you know, from the school board meeting, and you going to be a city council member as well. So when you say, what are you going to do? It's not about what I'm going to do. It's about building consensus so we can all make a good decision.
Yeah.
And we need resources and information to be able to provide that. Is there some
Data-driven.
personal things that we would like to see done? Yes, but I'm one vote
That's what I said.
of 9. So, you know, I got to get with my peers, and then we're going to try to make sure that we can have a very strong consensus to do some good things. So stop asking me what I'm going to do individually. Let's do this as a think tank.
Yes.
Let's do this as a think tank.
Exactly.
And how can we collaborate as members of the board, members of the city council, to put in some good, solid, effective policy?
Right.
Yes.
Close this out. Tell us anything you want to tell your constituents before you leave here.
Let's build coalitions. Let's build community. Let's enhance what we've got.
Harrisburg City, let's work together to make this happen. It's crucially important. It's very, very important that we do all we can do, and you come out and vote and this coming May for the primary, because this is the change that we all need, and it's the change that we all deserve. So come out and vote. Thank you.
Okay, for school board, put our children first. Do not settle for business as usual. It is time, and the time is now.
Don't tell me how much you love your children when you continue to let the policies of the administration keep affecting your child in a negative way. If you love your children, and I know you do, then show up, stand up, and bring power back to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the conversation.
It's been great.
I think contact